When you live in a small town, everyone knows where you've been and what you have done. I've been trying to leave this old town since I...
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zeta.
And I'm Kelly, and you're listening to
Two Sides and the Truth. Okay, so we're going to do a little catching up once again. We know y'all want to know day to day exactly how exciting our lives are.
super thrilling.
It's so exciting. It's just, you have no idea. This last week's been a whirlwind of fun.
Yeah.
Because we did have the almost semi-freeze.
Yeah.
We did close down shop as a state.
It's so funny.
But like, it wasn't icy.
No.
And
I think that it was more precaution than anything.
Yes.
They would rather just go ahead and shut the schools down so people don't have to worry about it. Because the last couple of years, it has gotten to the point where they needed to.
Now we're all scared.
So I think they jumped the gun a little bit, but all right.
I was okay with it.
I was too. I got the day off.
I got a day and an extra day and a half off. Yeah, a day and a half off. So, and I had been sick leading up to it once again because I apparently am never going to get better. And so I'd gotten really sick Thursday and Friday and called out.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, Sunday was, the weekend. And I felt good, actually. I was starting to feel better by Friday. And then the great freeze happened. It's very cold.
It knocked you down.
I was healthy for the semi-great freeze.
Like, what do you even call that? The great chilliness.
The great cold day. But we went to the grocery store, as everybody does in Texas during this possible storm. You're going to need Fritos. You're going to need bread. You're going to need milk.
Yeah.
And maybe eggs. That's what you need. I don't know what you make out of those things. Frito
but
egg
you have
sandwich.
to have them. You have to.
Yeah. You got to have them. But I just really need to do my weekly grocery shopping. I normally go on Sunday. And I was like, oh, shit, everybody's going to go on Sunday because it's happening Sunday. So we went Friday morning at like 6:30 in the morning, which is, I was already up for an hour and a half. This is not weird for me. And had no problem getting everything. So I started planning all these meals. I cooked and cooked and cooked.
Man.
I cooked pork belly with fried cabbage and mashed potatoes one night. I cooked jambalaya. I cooked chicken and dumplings earlier in the week. But I cooked them again at this time, and I took them to Al and to Amy's parents in the hospital, and Amy.
Yeah.
So Al'd been gone,
yeah.
And I figured he probably wanted some home cooking.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it was Sunday as it was going to get really cold, and I don't know. I woke up, and I was trying to think of something to do for Amy. And, she's my friend, and I was like, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? And I was like, I can cook. This is what I do.
Yeah, you definitely can do that.
So I text our mutual friend, Amy, who talks to Amy and Amy, they're both, it's confusing. I text Amy and my mutual friend, Amy, who has been talking to the other Amy's mom and keeps me updated. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, who's at the hospital? Who's going to be at the hospital? Bring in food. And so I did a little care package, whatever, took that up there. And so I said to Rick, when he woke, he took a nap. And so he woke up and I was like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to go before the weather gets almost frozen. I'm going to go take this to them. And I didn't see Amy. I didn't, I'm just trying to help them out. When they're ready for me, they'll let me know.
Yeah.
And so he was like, okay. I said, hey, I made some chicken and dumplings for them. I said for them. But he's half awake. So a few hours later, he's like, where are those chicken dumplings? I looked everywhere. Where are they? I was like, no, I didn't make them for us. I took them all over there. I didn't make enough for everybody. I just made them on like Tuesday of last week. So he was, are you kidding me?
So, oh my gosh.
None of that for him. But we had jambalaya that night, and we had chili one night, and we had, what else did we make? I made so much food. I made a lemon meringue pie. I made apple dump cake. I made a 3-layer chocolate pie with Reese's on top.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even like sweet jaw. I ate none of that.
You just have to be in the kitchen doing it.
I just get occupied. I just want to do stuff, you know. I made a full Cajun meal of chicken, blackened chicken with cream gravy.
Oh my gosh, that sounds
Cajun
so good.
gravy. It's Rick's favorite. It's really the reason I think he's with me.
I mean,
2 nights leading up to fish night, It's all he could think about. It's all he would talk about. He was like, you know what? We're having in 2 nights. That's fish night. That's what we're having is fish. I'm like, yeah, I know. I have to cook it. That's why when you asked if we could record last night, I was like, no, because
absolutely not.
I had promised. I knew when we were done with the vet, it was going to take me a good 2 hours to make that meal. And I made him a 3-layer chocolate cake. It's stupid.
Well, if he wasn't with you, I'd be with you. So I mean, I understand.
I know how to keep a man. I'm just saying, ladies, is he gonna marry you? Probably not, because we hadn't conquered that. But he will stay in your house. I don't know. So he was really funny too in the Great Semi-Freeze because the garage is his man cave, and he's a doer. He's not a sit-arounder. So he is getting bored, and so he's like making up shit to do. So he's like repainting guns.
I didn't even know that you painted guns.
I didn't either until I found them in pieces hanging from the rafters in my garage with a blowtorch blowing underneath them so that the paint would dry. Which, a blowtorch in your closed-off garage, propane-powered blowtorch, no, not safe.
That doesn't sound like it would be.
I don't feel like it's safe.
No,
I don't.
But to a man...
To this man, he's the only human I would trust this with because he uses blowtorches all day at work to in roofing. When you do the top of roofing, he does. So he is used to them. He waves it around like it's no big deal. If it was a sport, like those like baton twirling with fire.
Yeah.
If you could do that with a torch, he would be like really good at it. So. The plus side of that is it's semi like having a campfire in your garage.
Yeah.
So we warmed right up. We're hanging out in the garage all the time with the blowtorch. It's got a little thing
and the
on
painted
it.
Guns.
Yeah, he also I went down there and he made a bunch of the little fishing. I keep wanting to call them lures, but the things you throw out in the lake to catch the fish, I've forgotten what they're called.
Like the bobbers?
Yes, but that's not the word either.
Oh, I don't even know where I pulled that out.
I said it yesterday at lunch when I told you this, and I couldn't remember the name yesterday either. It'll come back
Anchors?
to me.
I don't know.
It'll come back to me. But he's building those. He randomly had everything he needed to build those. Again, I guess.
What do you need to build those?
I'm not allowed to tell how he does it.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It's like his fishing spot. He doesn't want anyone else to know his fishing secrets. And literally, when he built them the first time, he told me I'm not allowed to tell anyone what he just did.
Oh. You were sworn to secrecy.
I was.
Fishing secrecy.
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
It's a thing. Like if someone asks you where your spot is, you have to lie.
Well, I kind of get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, he doesn't want other people to make the same ones as him.
He needs to patent them.
And then come and get, he's got his damn name and phone number written on them. And he's a little over the top, okay? And so
a little bit.
So he built 10 of those. He in the middle of the semi-snowmageddon, he went outside and trimmed trees and loaded up the back of his truck and then disposed of them somewhere. I guess he took them to his mom's house to burn or something. I don't know. The man's going stir crazy. Normally, he would have horses here, and so he could find an excuse to leave the house and go and hang out with his horses. No one's talking. He's outdoors.
Yeah, in his element.
He's living his best life, but the horses are currently in San Saba, and it is driving him nuts. Oh. So, I know. Bless his heart. He was going to call my nephew the other day and say, I'll cash up you money if you go and pet my horses. I feel bad for him.
Oh, just go and give him some words of affirmation, please.
I'm like, you don't even do that. You don't even do that for me. What are you talking about? I don't know. So anyway, semi-snowmageddon, we survived. Everyone probably gained weight except me because I was sick going into it and I lost 7 pounds. So I gained 3 or 4 back.
Oh, so you're still good.
Yeah, I'm still down. Oh, nice. Well, because I don't even like the sweets.
Yeah.
So I don't really eat that much,
I could live on sweets. Yeah. I could totally give up savory and just eat sweets.
I am the opposite. And I did take 1 slice of the lemon meringue pie, and that is where I fail at. I prefer pie over cake. I love pie. I suck at making pies. I am an amazing cake baker.
Yeah, you are.
I hate cake. So, Rick, when I made the lemon meringue, it was the first time I'd ever made one. And I made it from fucking scratch. I mean, scratch, crust, everything. And I'm like, it doesn't have anything artificial in it. No pie filling. I made the filling. I made the meringue. And then I toasted it. And it was beautiful looking. and tasting until you cut open it, and the lemon meringue just kind of is like a custard.
Oh.
It didn't hold its shape.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't getting thick enough as I was making it.
Yeah.
And I added shit to it that's supposed to make it thicker. And it was just like, no. And I followed that damn recipe to a T. I was pissed. I was like, we're just like, why don't you just make, because he always tells me, you're not a baker. You're a cook. You're not a baker. He goes, except cakes. You could nail a cake. But I can't bake anything else. I'm so bad.
okay.
I really want to. So I was
Can't
like,
be perfect.
Well, I told him, I was like, I'm just going to keep trying. I'm just going to keep trying. I like pies. My kids like pies. You just need to stop. Just make a cake. Just make a cake, Zeta. Just a simple cake like that Dolly Parton coconut one.
Oh my gosh,
me.
that's my favorite.
And I was like, okay. And I was like, you're right. I'll make you a cake. So that's why last night I made the chocolate 3-tier with the chocolate, whatever. He goes, I don't really like chocolate very much.
Oh my gosh.
But he did love the cake. And he goes, but 3 tiers, is there a wedding? Is this a groom's cake? It was too big for my cake thing holder. It was too tall. I was like, okay.
You tell him you go big, you don't go home.
I was like, yeah.
I'm already at home, so I gotta go big.
I just had to prove to him I could whip something up in the dessert, bake something that's beautiful and tastes good. It just doesn't happen to be lemon meringue pie.
Oh, so sweet.
But would you rather it be thick or would you rather it taste good?
I mean, as long as it tastes good,
Right.
I could get over the fact that it's not as thick as
That's like the one thing even a dick applies to.
Yeah.
Thick is good, but if it tastes bad, no fucking thanks. This is universal.
Yeah, we just went there. I don't want to put it in my mouth if it doesn't taste good. So
Exactly.
that's true. I don't
Put it anywhere if it's not going to taste good. That's a red flag.
It really is.
I'm just saying. That's what we've been doing.
Okay.
I will say this whole semi-freeze thing. Rick and I have spent more. He's alive still. I wanted to kill him a few days. I was like, get out of my kitchen. He's like, get out of my garage. We weren't really arguing, but we were making fun of each other a lot. But at the end of the night, we were very, we got to hang out together, and we got in bed early enough we could watch a movie. So we watched a few movies, which is weird for us.
Yeah.
I was in bed so long because I was sick before Semi-Stormageddon. And so I just was in bed a long time at this point. So I started watching a series.
What series?
The Marvelous Miss Maisel. I think, did I already discuss this with you? Maybe at lunch yesterday,
Yeah.
maybe not this. The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which is wonderful. And it is about a woman who is trying to be a comedian back in the 40s. So aesthetically speaking, I love it because I love the 40s, everything. I love the furniture. I love the homes. I love the cars. I love the clothes. I love everything. The hair. So aesthetically, it's very pleasing. But on top of that, she's trying to be a comic, but she's trying to be a comic kind of a Joan Rivers. Like, she's edgy for then.
Yeah.
And she's a woman. And she just she's a mom. Her husband, cheats on her, and then they become friends. They deal with it, and they co-parent. And it's about her funny family. And I just love it, because it's a woman in the 40s who's, busting balls, basically. And she ends up becoming, real famous. So I think they really did base it off, a combination of women comics.
Yeah.
From back then. Joan Rivers is who pops in my head.
Yeah.
She pushed the envelope a lot. Anyway, so love the show. Started watching the show. Rick, not such a fan. How the fuck did you even find this stupid ass shit? But he starts watching some show, the boy in the sky, the boy wonder, the boy something. And it's based in Australia or New Zealand, something like that. And it's about a boy and his fucked up family. And I just couldn't take it. I had to go to sleep. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. His parents are drug dealers. It's giving me flashbacks. I can't watch this. So I had to go to sleep. So I did not enjoy his show either, is the moral of that story.
Well, we had kind of the same thing happen, because Dante started watching, and I can't even remember the name of the show, but it's not new. But the new season of it just started, and it's like a detective show, and it has Jodie Foster in it. I think that's her name. And it's really good, but it's really kind of dark and like a little scary and like, and
I don't like that shit.
I can't, I like it, but I can't watch that kind of stuff, especially before bed, because I have crazy dreams anyways.
Oh, yeah.
And so literally anything I watch before bed, something about that is going to be integrated into my dream. And so I'm
You
just
know
like,
what? He was watching that damn show the night before last, and I had a dream that I was selling drugs with Snoop Dogg. I'm not kidding. We were selling a lot of fucking weed. And so I woke up in the morning, and Rick and I were both getting up. I was like, you know what I dreamt last night? He was like, what? Snoop Dogg and I were selling drugs together. He was like my man. Like, he was my partner.
living the dream.
And Rick's like, oh, it was because of the show I was watching last night. Yeah. I was like, maybe Snoop Dogg wants to deal drugs with me. Maybe. You don't know.
He's trying to tell you telepathically there.
But yeah, I did have a dream that I was a drug dealer with Snoop Dogg the night before last.
And Dante even said, you don't need to watch this. And I was like, well, that's what's on. We're laying here and that's what you're watching. How am I not going to watch it?
Right.
And so I was like, whatever. But then after his show, we were scrolling, like right after that, they actually showed the Barbie movie. And it's the first time that I have seen it come on without like you having to like order it or, whatever. And so I was like, and he looked at me and he was like, no. I was like, yes, we are.
Yeah.
I just sat here and watched your crazy show.
And now he is a Ken. That's the first time he became a Ken.
I know. But
we found his weakness.
He was like, no. And I was like, you're not going to. And he was like changing it, putting on something else. And I was like, and so I started pouting. And so he was like, fine. And he like, he like tossed the remote over to me. So I like put it back on Barbie movie. And then he just like rolled over towards me and like went to bed.
Now he knows how he made you feel.
Not gonna.
You got to pick a movie you both enjoy.
Right? And if you don't, if you watch your movie, then that means I get the next one.
Right.
Like you have to be fair.
Yeah, you got to be fair. Yeah, we watched, I don't even remember the names of the damn movies. Now I can't remember what they're about, but I liked them. I watched 2 of them I liked. Can't tell you what they're about. Can't tell you who was in them anymore.
Oh, that's...
I'm the one with amnesia. It's so fucking weird.
Definitely not a good reviewer of movies. Okay.
I mean, there's been, I think I told the story. Did I tell this recently to you about when I had to do a lineup and I couldn't even remember. I had no damn clue. I was the witness. In a bank robbery.
Yeah, I have no clue what the guy
I was like, I didn't even know he robbed the bank until y'all called and told me. And I didn't even bank there. I was just there dropping something off because I worked at a car dealership. This is, 25 years ago. And I was literally dropping off some papers from the car dealership for our client, like for the customer. I'd never been to that bank. It's not a part of town I've ever been in. I had to go in and drop the papers off. And apparently I literally touched the bank robber on my way out. We like touched each other's arm as I exited, he entered.
Wow.
And they wanted to know who I was. Because he touched me. Like, was that a sign?
You're accomplice.
Yeah. And so they called and asked me. And I was like, what are you talking about? The bank was robbed. I was like, when? And they were like, right when you left. He was robbing the bank when you left. And that you touched him. I was like, I didn't even know someone touched me. I didn't even know. It happened in the parking lot. Like, he was coming in. He was just in a hurry, probably not, like, he was probably freaking out.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, worst witness ever. They're like, well, we'd like you to come see this lineup. I say, wrong bitch. I'll come look, but I don't even know what color he was. I don't remember he existed.
I don't even know if he was a guy.
And it's not, no, I had no memory of even seeing, nothing at all. And, no. And then another time I was supposed to do a lineup, and I just told him ahead of time, I'm not going to know.
You're going to get nothing out of me.
I was like, it's not that I'm trying to protect anyone. I just have the worst memory of it. I'm sorry for y'all's luck. It's so bad, y'all. I'm sorry. My poor kids, when I'm old, I already repeat the same stories. They're going to hear the same stories 5 million times. Mm-hmm. And I don't even have dementia. It's just where I am in life.
Well, hopefully you don't get it so that it becomes even worse.
So did he have his kids there during the snow apocalypse?
Yeah.
And everything was fine with that? They just stay in their room cuddled up?
Yeah, they do the same thing they do any other time.
Yeah.
So it was fine.
Yeah. My cat did start going crazy. He wanted out. And we would open the door and he would just be like, damn it. And he wouldn't, he'd realize it's too cold. Well, he went out there one time and wouldn't come right back in. And he was just sitting on the porch like staring. So we shut the door. But we were watching through the window, like, he's going to come back in, And he went over to the window, he knocks on his, and put his little paws up and his little face in the window like he was a little cold orphan. I'm like, you've been out there 20 seconds. He came back in and gave up.
Poor guy.
Yeah, so that's about all we did since we're a few days late because we couldn't get our shit together, both of us. But that was the extent of the Snowmageddon. I did put on our Facebook, I did put recipes for other people, and everybody's kind of on the same boat. Everybody was making chicken and dumplings. They were making, chili. Lots of chili. That's what the Fritos are for.
I made my own pasta noodles for the first time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
They turn out good?
Yeah, they did. I was excited. I was the only one that ate them because nobody in that house wants to eat.
Were you just bored and you were like,
I was, and I think I was sitting there like, because I wanted to cook something, but I don't cook. No. And so I was like, I don't even have anything in here to like even play around with. Yeah. But pasta noodles are so simple. Yeah. You literally only need like eggs and flour and maybe a little bit of olive oil or whatever. So I was like, hey, I have that. So I did. And
you just Google it? Or you made it before?
I've made them before.
Oh, okay.
Because I took classes when I was in school. I did culinary classes because I wanted to be a chef when I was younger.
What?
Yeah, I did.
You don't even cook.
I know. I did. I used to. When I was going to school, like that was my passion. I loved cooking when I was younger. I cooked for my family all the time, and I was taking like 2 different cooking classes because I wanted to go into culinary school before I graduated. But that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I used to cook all of the time and make recipes and everything like that. And so, but I hadn't done it literally for years. And so I was like, I want to make me some pasta. And I did.
But if you don't normally cook, you're not going to have anything to cook.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you got.
That is definitely not what's keeping my man around.
It's the best thing. I told him the other day, because I had asked him, I think I said this recently. I did say this recently on the podcast about, what is it that you think when you think about why you love me? You're a real good cook. Yeah. And so I've not let him hear the end of this. He goes, obviously there's other things. I just really like that. That's unique. People these days don't cook.
It's true. It's true.
And he was like, and you like it. Anyway,
that's a big flex. Okay. It really is.
I can make my own gravy, but so can he. I actually taught him and he has mastered it. And I now make him make it. It makes him feel special too.
Well, that's good. That's important.
I know. But I think that's all they're catching up, unless you got something else.
Well,
I'm trying to think if I forgot something.
Whenever it was Christmas time, our family, we have our big family Christmas, all my aunts and uncles and cousins and everything like that. But we didn't get to have ours this year because we were supposed to have it the week before Christmas, but too many people in my family were sick then. So they canceled it and rescheduled it. So we just got to have our big family Christmas on the Saturday before the big freeze and everything happened. So that was fun.
Is it hard to feel festive when it's that far after, or did it feel Christmas?
It was fine because it was still a really good, my family, it kind of came back because we were all together, so anytime that all of our family gets together like that, it feels festive anyways, because that's the kind of times of years that we get together like that. But it was a little bit, I was like, oh man, because, and even some of the gifts and stuff, because we do a white elephant too. So we're
probably holiday related.
Some of them were, but so I won, what is it called? The Snuggie. I have a Snuggie.
Okay.
And it has little gnomes all over it, but then it has Christmas trees too, but I don't care.
But that was perfect for the semi.
It was. I was
Snowmageddon.
And I stole it from my cousin. And then another cousin of mine stole it from me. And then, in our family, I think it can be stolen twice or 3 times. I can't remember. But then, my brother came in clutch because my brother's number got called. So he went, since it was stolen from me, I couldn't steal it right back. Right. And so I took what my brother had. And so my brother went and stole it back from me.
So y'all were trading. Yeah. You have got this game down.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, that was so sweet. I was like, that was the first sweet thing my brother ever done for me in my life.
Is this your brother? That's the one that's your age? Like
Yeah, this is my older brother. He's 1 year, 1 week, and 1 day older than I am.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that was fun. And then, so my cousin McKenna, she's I think she's 18, but her birthday's coming up, and she wants to get her first tattoo. And I think I've talked about it before, that she wants to get a tattoo on her ear because one of her ears, she can't wear a ring in, like a earring. It always messes up, and just in one ear. One of the ears is fine. The other one, she's tried multiple times to get it pierced, and it never takes. And so her mom was like, well, why don't you just get like a cute little tattoo on that side, since you can't put any, jewelry in. And so she's like all about that. And so we have been going back and forth on like a design or like what she wants to do. But she's also like really worried about if she'll be able to deal with it, because she's like, it doesn't hurt. I was like, I can't say it hurts, but I mean, if you get piercing, she has her ears pierced, she has her nose pierced, and so like if you can deal with pain like a piercing, you can deal with a tattoo, just depending on how big it is and where it's at.
Right.
I was like, so
would the ear be sensitive? I don't feel like
I don't know. I don't have anything on my ears, but I'm imagining, I don't know. I don't think it would hurt any more than getting a piercing. And so I
mean,
told
if you
her,
think about it, a lot of people pierce their own ears.
yeah, and she did. She pierced her own ear and her own nose.
Oh, she can handle it.
That's what I told her. I was like, I think that you're just overthinking it because you haven't had anything yet. I was like, but it's best to just start small. I was like, just have something that's not as intricate, because there were a couple like that took up the whole like earlobe and stuff like that.
You don't want to do that.
I was like, you don't have to do that. Just start small.
As you get older, your color smudges somewhat, and you don't want your ear to look like a bruise.
Yeah. So she came up with a really good idea though. She wanted to get Morse code, and it just for like her name, like the first letter of her name. I was like, that would be a really good idea, because it's just dots and dashes. So it would be over really quickly, and they can just start with like a dot, so you can feel how it feels and be like, okay, we're good. And then you're not having to sit through a whole tattoo.
Yeah.
Like they can do that really quick. They're not going to mess it up. And and so if you can so I think that the M is just 2 dashes for an M. I was like, so they can do that. She wants us to both get, so like she wants to get an M and a K, and she wants me to get a K and an M, like for, whatever. And so I was like, we can do that. So if you start with your M, and then if you're fine, you can do more. But if not, then you just have your M, and it's still meaningful for you. And so she's like, she's happy about that.
You're a good mentor in the tattoo department.
Right, I try. So her birthday's on the same day as yours. Y'all have the same birthday.
Happy birthday.
So yeah,
she's an Aquarius.
She's gonna be really excited about going and getting tattoos. And then for I'm getting my first tattoo of the year, and I'm really excited about it. And I've done this before as part of my therapy. I would get a tattoo every month. And it didn't have to be anything big or anything, but what I'm working on right now is filling in my sleeves, because I have just some spaces that I can get like small filler tattoos. And then eventually I'm going to get it all kind of filled in, just like traditional tattoo, kind of like just little fillers or whatever. Yeah. So I'm going to get to that point, but I have bigger spaces that I can fill with like smaller tattoos. So that is on my list of what I'm going to be doing. No, not really. I just kind of go and pick stuff.
I just thought of this, but you don't have to do it.
Okay.
You can nix it. But it just made me think of it as if you're starting in January, so it's literally a fresh year. So if each one had a small theme built into it for that month you got. So if you had like February would have something like a heart. And,
I did that. I think kind of like that.
Yeah, that would be really cute.
The
it's
things to have like whatever like holiday was in that month or something like that.
Yeah, it could even be like the month of your birthday. It could even be like a birthday thing, because that's what you would have done that month. It doesn't even have to be the holiday, but fall. It could be a leaf if it's October. Whatever. Well, October would probably be easy to figure out.
Yeah.
September.
Yeah. But I'm excited.
You don't have to do that, but I'm just saying that's cute.
Yeah. I'm really excited. So I'm hopefully going to be getting that this weekend.
Yeah. Well, fun. I keep thinking my birthday's... Well, first I kept forgetting my birthday was coming up, and then someone would say something. And then Rick brought it up the other day. What are you doing for your birthday? And I was like, I don't know. I said, I'm going to do something with the girls. Oh, yeah, just do something with your girls. And he was being serious, because it meant, like, I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we're doing it. later, in the beginning of February, Erica and I are sharing because our birthdays are a month apart. And so I was like, or 3 weeks apart. And so I was like, no, we're going to do like a combo thing in February. So I'm free for my birthday with you. What do you want to do? And so last night we were talking about it, and I was like, well, I guess we could go back to the stockyards because that's what we did last year. And he goes, I'm not spending another $500 on a hat. I said, well, I don't actually want.
Learn my lesson.
I said, I don't want another hat. I got enough hats for now. But I do want to go. And so he was like, okay, we can do that. But then he goes, I was giving him a hard time because he hates to rub my neck. He hates to do it. His hands, he works with his hands all day. But at the end of the day, he's not feeling it. He'll do it reluctantly, but he's not even great at it. And so I'm like, my
Weaponized incompetence?
Yeah, no, but he really is just not good at it. He's too aggressive. It hurts. And I'm pretty tough, but he's just got strong hands, so everything is extra, So I'm like, so he did it for me the other night. I was like, will you rub my neck? It's hurting. So he did. He rubbed my knot, whatever. And he was like, what I need to do is get you a professional massage or a spa day, and they can do this, and I'll pay for it. So it's like I did it.
Cha-ching, that's what you're doing.
Deal. I said, just make an appointment.
What a wonderful idea.
Yeah, so I think that's what I'm getting. I don't know if we'll go to the stockyards. I'd rather go to the spa.
Yeah, well, I have to say, if I had to choose between those two things,
it was his idea, so we're going to go with it. So that's all I have for birthday.
I asked Dante, because Dante's birthday is the day after yours.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I asked him the same question. I was like, what are you going to do for your birthday? And he was like, this, and he was laying in bed. And I was like, come on, we got to do something. But he's just not a celebrator. He does not celebrate himself. He's the opposite of me, who takes an entire month for their birthday. So.
Rick is the same way. He's not a celebrator either. So
yeah. And I was like, well, it's on a Sunday, so you're off work. So we'll probably just do our regular going to church and then going out to eat.
Right. I know mine's on a Saturday, so that's always good. I don't have to go to work.
That is nice.
I know.
I think my birthday is on a Friday this year, and I already took it off.
Of course you did. I am going this weekend to Zoe's best friend since high school is getting married, and she's asked me to help her do some of the mom things. She doesn't have a relationship with her mom.
Oh,
I know. And so she's kind of asked me to do some mom stuff with her. So Friday night, I get to be mom, and we are going dress shopping. And then we're going to go have dinner.
Ooh, fun.
And it's like it's Zoe and her friend and her other best friend from high school, which is a gay guy who Zoe dated in high school.
Yeah.
I've discussed him.
I remember this.
We love this guy.
Yeah.
He's engaged as well. And so he's the one organizing everything.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Yeah.
He's in good hands.
I'm just saying everything's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is my plans Friday night.
Friday night?
Yeah, this Friday night.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
We're going dress shopping after work, and then we're going meeting for dinner.
I'm crossing my fingers that I'm going to be getting that tattoo. So.
All right. Well, I mean, it's really cool that I get to do these kind of things with my kids' friends that so many of them have such a good relationship with. Like that's cool. My mom had a good relationship with some of my friends, and it always means a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. Dress shopping and all that fun stuff. And nice. I love her so much. So it'll be cool. And I actually know her mom and have known her mom since I was growing up too. So I don't know. It's good she has someone there. All right. So I guess that's all we got for catching up.
We're caught up.
Awesome. We rock.
All right. So our topic of the day is going to be reinventing yourself. And this can be a pretty broad thing, going over a lot of different aspects. It can be reinventing yourself just in general, like you want to, like a new year, new me kind of thing, or in your whole entire life, you don't like the way that your life is going or the people that you have around you. So your job, maybe you have been in a career for a while and you're deciding you want a big career change. Maybe it's a relationship or a marriage that you've been in for a while and now you're out. And so you're literally having to reinvent yourself. And we've both been in this situation before and we have talked about it before, but we want to kind of come back to it in a little different aspect of, seeing how do you do that? What does it entail? How are you supposed to do it? And
why people do it.
Why it's good to do it.
Right. Yeah.
How hard it can be to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first thing I think to discuss is the reasons why people do it.
Yeah.
Because it's for varying reasons.
Yeah.
Myself being, which I'll tell the story in a minute, but I did it when I was growing up. When I was going into 7th grade, I made a conscious decision to change some things about me so that I could make more friends, because I was very shy, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Guess what I changed? And then as an adult, when I decided to get a divorce, and I decided I needed to stop worrying about making everyone happy with me. So both times it was for personal growth, and it was kind of for selfish reasons, I guess, because I wanted friends. And the first go round, and the second go round, I don't know that I'd call it selfish, but I was tired of living for everybody but myself. You know, so I had to make some changes. What other reasons would you think? Health reasons you have to make changes?
Yes.
You know, mental and physical, I would assume.
And then, of course, financial reasons, and that can come with like either not being able to stay in the career that you're in, or, you know, needing to, you know, branch out into a broader, you know, spectrum or whatever. One of mine was definitely when it comes to the career, because especially when you're younger and you're thinking about what you're going to do when you get older, and you're, you know, making plans for college and all of this. And that's what I did. Like I was thinking about going into culinary school, and I thought for a while I wanted to do hair and everything like that. But I was really limited in that because I don't like to touch people. And so I'm really good at hair. I loved doing hair, and I was so into cosmetology. And
You're very good at it.
Makeup and hair was a big passion of mine. But then when it comes down to it, you have to touch people.
Yeah.
And that is not my thing. I do not like touching people. And I'm like, I'm going to have to touch people,
strangers,
all day, every day. And that's not going to be okay with me.
And it's people you don't know from Adam. So like they might not be very clean.
I know. And so that when I finally realized that, cause like I did some classes in high school where in cosmetology classes, and it was going great because at first you just work on mannequins.
Right.
So I literally did not make the connection until after that part when we started actually working on people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did not think about this. This is not for me. So that was literally something that I just hit a brick wall. Like I was so into this and so ready, but I just didn't connect that aspect of it. I don't know why, but it's kind of like with my tattoos. Like I love tattoos, and I was so passionate about getting tattoos, and I was covered in tattoos. And then I realized people are going to come up to me and touch my tattoos all of the freaking time. Yeah. And I didn't think about it. I didn't make that connection.
And ask you questions.
And I mean, I really don't care when people ask questions. I just hate it when people just grab you. And it happens more than it should. It shouldn't happen at all. And it definitely happens more than it should. And so I just didn't make the connection. And then I had all these different things. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I started going to college. I hated college. And I was like, but you know, I need to go to college because I need to do all this stuff. Because like in my head, I wanted this. I felt like I needed to do whatever successful thing to be successful. Yeah. And it wasn't actually what I wanted. I didn't even care about being successful. And then I had a lot of people that expected me to like follow a musical career as well, because they're like, you're such a good singer. You should be working on that. You should be doing all these concerts, this and that.
Yeah. But you don't like attention either.
And that's not what I wanted. Like I was happy that people felt like that's something that I could accomplish. That it's great to like have people like rooting for you and like, you could definitely do this, but that's not what I wanted to do. I knew I did not want to do that. Yeah. And so I had to realize that I needed to figure out what was going to make me happy, not what was going to make me money. Not what was, and especially I know some people, they have to make money. You have a family to support.
Some people have to have money to be happy. Yeah, like some people that they don't know how to be happy without it.
Their happipness is correlated to their success. Right, and they have to be successful and make a lot of money because that's what's going to make them happy. Right, and that was the wheels that were turning in my head, because that was what was shown and what was told to me, and well, not necessarily by my parents or anything like that, but I'm just talking about the outside world. Right. People want to see you being successful. Yep. And the way that they gauge success is by the things that you have, what you look like, how, especially these days, is how popular you are or whatever. Yeah. And that's just not what I wanted. And that's never how I wanted to go. But I was on that path. And then I realized, why am I even doing this? None of this makes me happy. None of the things that I'm like trying to do are even what I want to do. And at this time, I had worked at the Boys and Girls Club, And I loved working at the Boys and Girls Club, but it was just a job, like while I was going to college and stuff like that. But then I realized this is what I want to do. I don't want to go anywhere else. This is what fulfills me. This is what makes me happy. So why am I
irony in that is that you're not a mom and don't have any want to be a mom, but you're good with kids and you get to go home and escape them.
Yeah. And so that was one of the biggest turning point in reinventing myself, is letting go of the expectations that I had based on everybody else and what success looks like, and what was my idea of success, what was going to make me happy, what was going to fulfill me and make me feel at the end of the day like I succeeded. And whenever I am able to connect with kids, and whenever I'm able to help them out, or if they're having a hard day, or give them a different perspective on things, that's when I feel like I've accomplished.
Right.
Is whenever I'm able to help build them up. So
yeah, well, and it protects your own mental health when you stop chasing other people's dreams for you.
Amen.
Because, I mean, that was really when I had my divorce. The divorce was not because I decided to do this. The divorce was I wasn't a casualty of it either. It was like, I'm doing this, I need to get divorced as part of it. Like, this is holding me back. This is not the dream I had for myself. This is not the person I dreamed for myself. This is not the life I dreamed for myself. I know what I'm capable of. I'm being held back. Our worlds do not match. Our goals in life and drive and everything else did not match. And I was never going to get out of the hole I was in until I got out of that situation. Mm-hmm. And so I used to like really feel guilty, like I chose a divorce because, for selfish reasons.
And people can make you feel bad too. It's like, oh, you're going to break up a home and you're going to do all this.
Especially when you have 4 kids, but like, why didn't you figure this out sooner? I wasn't strong enough sooner. It took me having 4 kids to get strong enough to understand that I had to remove them from that situation as well. You had other people that you had to be strong for. Yes, it wasn't just yourself. Yeah, and so I had to make that choice. And I don't know how to explain that it was just a casualty of me standing up for myself. I didn't stand up for myself because I got a divorce. I stood up for myself, and that resulted in a divorce. Yeah. Because I knew that person couldn't go with me to the next stage of life. I was never going to move. I was going to be stuck in that stage for the rest of my life. And best thing I ever did for myself. But in the process of doing that, what I did was I reevaluated everything about myself. So it wasn't just about getting a divorce. It was, what are my goals? What do I want to do with my life? I want to be creative. I want to get back to being able to do things I enjoy doing in a creative aspect. What are those things? It had been years, a decade. What am I good at? What is it I like doing now? I don't even have a hobby. I've lost myself. I don't know. Clothes. I hadn't bought myself anything cute or attempted to look cute in 10 years. My kids were the priority. I just didn't, and I didn't think I ever could like live up to what I used to look like. Mm-hmm. You're always comparing yourself to your old self, so you just hide yourself. Yeah. And, your body changes. You have children. I'm definitely thicker than I used to be. As a Gen X woman that grew up with all these Kate Moss-looking people, that can be difficult. Mm-hmm. I am not a Kate Moss. I am a chubby Patty. Yeah, and
especially because even the people that you would see, or the magazines that you see of people who were totally fine, but they were a little bit bigger, they're plus size. And then how is a person that is a size 6 a plus size model? Right. That's absolutely ridiculous.
It's absolutely insane.
But that's what got pushed into your head. And it doesn't matter what outlet you were going for. If you see a model that's a size 6 and they're calling them plus size, what is that going to do to your brain?
And at my age, that's what that was.
Yeah.
And my age group, we really got it. And that's what I did when I got out of high school is for extra money, I modeled. And so I worked for Foley's, Macy's, different aspects of it. I did this modeling. Well, as I got older, because I started when I was in junior high, and I would do little, runway thing, but small runway. I'm not built for the runway. But, even when I was younger, I always had a figure. And they didn't want figures then. They wanted you to look like you just did heroin. It was called heroin chic for a reason.
Yep.
They wanted you to look like you were just in the bathroom doing a line of coke or something along those lines. I did not look like that. I looked like Daisy Duke. I was built like freaking, an hourglass. I was built like a woman should be built.
Yeah.
And I look back and I'm like, oh my God, my body was awesome. And I was clueless.
Yeah.
I mean, but I was modeling like at car shows in bathing suits, and that was considered the less attractive girls, but we're going to put them in bathing suits because they look better in them. What? Yeah. Like, I could only get bathing suit work. Like, that was it. It's really weird. So it does a lot to your head. So then I started having children, and my body changed, and I became thicker. And wrapping your brain around it just killed me. And and it wasn't that I thought other people thought I looked bad. It was just how I thought I looked.
Yeah.
I didn't want to look at myself. So I had to learn to love myself at the size I was. Like, I decided I needed to stop chasing what I wanted to be and embrace what I am, and we're going to see what happens. And what happens is I did that, and I lost a ton of weight on accident without trying.
Yeah.
Like 40 pounds, like gone overnight. Don't even know why. And it was before I got divorced. Like, I started losing before then because I was making choices in my life, and those choices included loving myself more.
Yeah.
And, so that was one thing. So what was I wearing? Thinking about my clothes, the artwork on the walls, because I didn't have the artworks on the walls, so that when I got home, I enjoyed my space. I felt comfortable in my space. I was proud of my space. Conscious decisions like that, even though they were small, And so Zoe and I were talking the other night, and she says, during the semi-freeze, it's the first time she's been home for one of these. And so we're talking about it, and I go, well, our house is 100 years old, and it holds up pretty good in this cold weather. But our last house was 100 years old, and it did not. It would get so cold in that house. Well, when I first got divorced and I got my first place on my own, it was a garage apartment I've talked about numerous times, and it was so run down. My sliding glass door went to nowhere. Like, it was 2-story. We were on the second floor. And the sliding glass door, there was no porch. You just would have fallen out into a field. And it was just broken windows, cardboard on windows. It was like a crack house, but I wasn't doing drugs. Like, I just was a poor mom, So Zoe says, you remember that? Remember when we had the freeze and we lived there? We had cardboard on the windows. It was fucking cold. Below us was a garage with no insulation. It was just plywood we were walking on with thin fake wood floors. It was so cold, I went to the Goodwill and bought a bunch of blankets, every blanket I could buy at the Goodwill because I had no money, and I lined the entire apartment's floor in blankets to insulate it. And then I put all the other blankets and the thickest sheets I could on all the windows. It looked like we were in like a tent. The entire apartment was like that. And I was like, remember when it was like that, And she was like, oh my God, yes, I forgot about what it was like. I said, but you remember how happy y'all were? You remember how happy y'all were? Like, that was fun. We had a good time that week. She was like, we did have a good time that week. Well, that was in the middle of me changing. I was making changes. And you know what? You got to suffer through some changes.
Yeah.
So when you're reinventing yourself, if anyone thinks that you're going to reinvent yourself and you're going to immediately come out on the other end, it is a battle to do it.
Yeah. And honestly, that can be one of the reasons why people choose not to.
Absolutely. They don't want to put the work in.
And they're like, I'm not gonna have a place to go. I'm not gonna have, people are gonna turn against me. I'm not gonna have the same friends. I'm not gonna have as much money, or whatever the case may be. And so it's too daunting when they're thinking about what's gonna happen. And those things do happen. Like, if you're with somebody and you're living with them, and you're dependent upon 2 incomes, and you're thinking, how am I going to be able to make it on my own?
Right.
And so a lot of people stay in situations that they don't need to be in because they don't know that they're going to be provided for, or that they're going to be able to provide for themselves. Yeah. And so it's too scary. And so they're going to stay in that situation, whatever it is, because they can't, they're too scared and worried to take the steps.
Right. And that can even be in, like, if you're trying to get healthier, or you're trying to lose weight, or maybe you're trying to gain weight. There's some people that need to gain weight. I don't identify, but I know it's true because my mom actually struggled.
I know
with
there's
that.
definitely 2 ends.
And
of
it
the
really
spectrum
was
there.
a struggle.
Yeah.
And I understand. And the same thing, putting in the work. Like, if you want to see changes, you have to put in the work. And as you get older, you have to put in a lot more work. It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
And if you never put in the work when you were younger, it's even harder than harder. Trust me. And, but you can do it. And it's just like me making that fucking lemon meringue pie. Yeah, this time it was custard, but next time it might be a pie. It's possible. I'm not giving up.
Yep.
I might bake a cake to prove I can do something else.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm not giving up. But it does require you making choices. And so I just think sometimes we let ourselves get into a rut. And it could be even like making friends. So like I said, I was really painfully shy. And I think it's because I was the younger of my group of cousins growing up for a while, like locally. When I lived in San Saba, it was my brother, my cousin Cole, my cousin Zane, and me. That we were the only local kids. The younger generation hadn't been born yet. And so I was the youngest one at that point. And it was obvious. I was getting left behind. I was the younger sister. Like they were 1 year older, 1.5. Like, but I felt like I was tiny compared to them.
Yeah.
And so I kind of would get left out and I would just kind of take it, whatever they did. I was like, okay. Fast forward to me moving to Red Oak and everybody grew up together and I start first grade there. I mean, I'm 5. But I'm already the outsider.
Yeah.
And so it took me until I was going into 7th grade. So I have gone to school with these people from first grade until going into 7th grade. And I was like, I am sick of not getting invited to the birthday parties. I am sick. I would get invited. I had friends. Someone listens to this podcast. Like I have childhood friends. But I always felt like I was the invite they gave out because I was their friend's friend.
Yeah.
Like, I never felt like anyone was like, I got to have Zeta there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, one friend, Claudia, she always made sure I got there. But that was it. And Jennifer, maybe. No, not even always. I didn't get invited to her sport friends things. So, because, I can't play sports. But anyway, so I decided I want some friends and I want a social life and I want after school, if my best friend gets mad at me, I want to know I got 4 other friends. Because you know how that is.
Oh, yeah.
And Claudia was my best friend. So it happened a lot. We'd fight a lot. And so I decided to make that choice. And so I literally started the first day of 7th grade. And I looked around at the lunchroom and I made a decision to sit with people I didn't know. Like I knew them, but I didn't know them. And I just was like, this is who I want. And I knew before the first day of school who I was going to pick. I was going to be this person's friend. And that's period. And I didn't pick the popular kids. Erica was the popular kid. Like, I was friends with Erica, but she was way more popular than me. Like, she was the cool kid. And we were always cool with each other. And we would spend the night sometimes she would spend the night with me, especially if she wanted to, like, fuck around with my brother. But that's a different story. But she was way more popular than me. I wanted to be friend with the artsy kids. So I wanted to be in theater. So I picked the artsy kids, which was Courtney and Heather, who I'm still friends with. And so I made a decision. I scanned the room. I found them. I sat down and I became friends with them. And I am still friends with them. And it changed me completely because they're outgoing. They're artsy, which is my thing. They like to dress crazier than everybody else. My thing. It was perfect for me, And so it just really started a whole new, social life for me. And then in school, it served me well. I made a ton of friends. I had a great time. School was my escape. I wish my kids had the same experience of school. I really took it for granted. I didn't realize not every kid gets this.
Yeah.
Even though I made the decision to make it happen for myself, it was kind of easy for me. Mm-hmm. It's not easy for my kids.
Yeah.
And so, that you can take and you can apply in adult life.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have girlfriends, like we always see people say, you have had people say it to you.
Yeah.
And like our good friend Cindy, she's never really had girlfriends. She made a conscious decision to make friends with some women. Mm-hmm. And she had to put herself out of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
And she is a perfect example of her somebody changing things in their life and making a decision. And look at her now. She's joined a girl motorcycle group.
I know, right?
I don't want to call them a gang.
Awesome.
What are they called again? Not a gang.
They're a club.
They're a club. And now,
they're probably a gang.
And she got on social media, which is crazy.
I know.
And she posts pictures all the time, and she's looking amazing. And every time she posts it, all these girls are liking and commenting it. And I'm like, see? She made herself a girl group. She reinvented herself. I just think that's fucking awesome.
It is. It really is. And it's inspiring too, because there's no age limit. There's no age limit. There's no time limit. There's no weight limit. There's nothing that's limiting you except for your ability and your readiness to just take that first step and start making the changes.
And don't go hang out with someone just like you. If you're that person looking for a change is not to find another exact replica of you. Find someone you're going to learn from.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes you that's how you reinvent yourself. The better people you hang out with, and I don't mean better like money, whatever. I'm talking about like, this is my goal. I want to be this smart, or I want to be that creative, or I want to be that talkative, or I want to be that quiet. Whatever it is that you're aiming for. You got to hang out with people like that.
Yeah,
that's
you got to
how
put
you
yourself,
learn.
and that's what I did. I put myself out of the comfort zone when I wanted to be your friend, and you're one of the first people that I met when I came back to Ellis County that I decided she's going to be my friend, and I made you my friend. And I have met so many amazing people out of this one connection. So you never know where that's going to lead you. Whatever step that you're taking, it might seem big or it might seem small, but you have no idea where that's going to take you if you actually just do it.
And that applies in like if you want to chase a dream, like painting or singing or I don't know, podcasting or whatever, writing a book, whatever. You never know what the first step you do will lead to.
Yeah.
And it can go in career changes. Maybe you need to, I changed careers at one point to be home more. That led to this, which led to this, which led to that. So there's change is good is what I'm trying to say.
It is.
Everybody's supposed to change. That's, you want to be the caterpillar or do you want to be the butterfly?
Yeah. You're not supposed to be a rock.
No. Yeah, you're supposed to change. I always like that meme where I've seen a few aspects of it, but the caterpillar and the butterfly is one where they're at like dinner and the caterpillar's like, you've changed. And the butterfly's, you're supposed to.
Jinx.
Thank God.
Right?
So yeah, good subject.
Yeah.
So
I have a little funny insert. Well, I thought it was funny, but really it made me really happy actually when it happened. And so during our, so back to when we had our family get together, it was on January the 13th. And I was sitting next to Annie and we were cracking up like usual, man. It was so funny. So she was looking at her phone and she had one of her memories pop up and she was like, and so she's like, Kelly, look. And she showed me, and it was a picture of me and her on my wedding day.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was, and I have never seen this picture before. And a little backstory.
Would that have been your anniversary? Like, why is it popping up?
Let me get to it. So, after my wedding, the girl who took my wedding pictures was actually my cousin's wife at the time. And they ended up divorcing and she moved out of state. Like not too long after this. So all of my wedding pictures and stuff that she had taken, she lost.
Oh.
So I never got a single, other than what pictures that people had actually taken on their phone, I didn't take a single picture on my phone because I didn't have my phone the whole day.
Yeah.
So I did not have a single picture of myself or anything else on my wedding day. I never saw anything. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a sign right there.
I was about to say.
So I was actually really happy because I didn't have to get rid of anything, but I'd never seen this picture before, a picture of me and her, and she showed it to me. And I was like, aw, like it didn't make me sad or anything like that. I was like, I looked so good in my wedding dress. I didn't have any tattoos. It was so weird to see this picture of myself. Weird, yeah. And she was like, why is this popping up? And she was like, when did you get married? And I was like, and I thought about it and I was like, that's when I got married on January 13th of 2013. That's when I did. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, well, I guess happy anniversary. And we died laughing. Oh my gosh. And we could not stop laughing. And like a couple of my aunts and them were like looking over and like, what? And she was like, it's Kelly's anniversary. It was so, and my brother's like, no, that does not apply anymore. They're
making me cough.
They're not married anymore.
Void.
I was like,
that is void.
She's like, you would have been married for 10 years today. I was like, I'm so glad that I'm not. I'm so glad that I'm not. But it was so funny because I have not thought about that. I haven't not all of these years until now. I've never been on like January 13th, been like, oh man, this was never.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that that never happened. I'm so happy that I'm not was not dragged down by it or anything like that.
It didn't ruin your January 13th
No, it didn't.
for the rest of your
life.
life.
That's what I told her. I literally have not thought about that day. I haven't thought about that day. I haven't thought about him. I haven't thought about any of that.
See, I can't remember my anniversary from when I was married, and I was married a long fucking time. But I know approximately within a few days. But when I was married, I couldn't remember either. Hello, bad memory. So I had to have our wedding date inscribed on the inside of the ring. We were married like 3 years before I did that. I had it put in there because I could not remember our anniversary. To this day, I know it's somewhere between February 9th and 13th.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but then she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring all that up. I was like, no, it's actually fine because it shows me how much it didn't affect me.
And you're able to laugh at it.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Like, look at virgin arms on me.
I know, it was so weird.
Yeah, no neck tattoos, nothing.
I know.
That's
it was
funny.
crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I know.
10 years, which is crazy because Rick and I have been together longer than 10 years. Yeah. We just moved in together.
Yeah, that was definitely it was a good thing. It's a very good thing. It took me a lot longer than I wanted to get divorced. I'll say that, but it's literally but I had left him. I left him the day that
the shit went down.
Yeah, the shit went down. I was like, oh, you don't deserve me.
Yeah,
bye.
you gone.
And I never looked back. And I'm so happy that I did that. And it was scary and it was hard because at the time it was not supported. Like my family wanted me to work through it. And so I knew that it was something that I was just going to have to do by myself. I was going to have to figure it out. And I was going to have to let people's, I was going to have to let them get mad if they wanted to get mad or not support me or whatever the case may be. But I knew that I had to do what I had to do for myself.
That's my mom, who I thought would be the pro-divorce, Miss 9 times married, hated my ex-husband, tried to put a hit on him to have him beat up. Like, my mom hated the man. When I told her I was getting divorced, she was like, suck it up. You made your bed. I was like, bitch, you've been married 9 times. What are you talking about?
Nope.
But I called my stepmom. She was like, come home.
That's good.
Yeah, come on back. So, it worked out for the best of us.
Yeah, you just got to do it.
You don't know who your support system's going to be. It's always surprising when you make changes like
it really
that.
is. Because sometimes you really see other people's true colors.
Yeah, and you create your own support system.
Yeah. And
really
honestly, that's going to be more beneficial to you.
Mary got me through my divorce. Mary and Danny got me through my divorce. They were my rocks. Like and my friend Chris, it was just the anniversary of his passing. He passed away a few years ago. I think it's been 5 years now. And we all got divorced the same. Well, Mary never got married.
She's smart.
Didn't have any children either. But Mary jumped in. Like, she was the first one in. Come on, now. And she gave me something to do every weekend. And we didn't even live in the same city. I was in Houston and she was in Dallas. And Danny lived there, but Danny just got divorced, and then at the same time, Chris got divorced, and we were ride or dies, man. So I would have never, 6 months before that, if you had told me within 6 months, you're going to be hanging out with Danny and Chris and Mary, your friend. I wasn't even friends with Danny in high school. He was also popular, and I was not. I was a homecoming queen, but I was like the alt girl. That all the potheads voted for
because they didn't want their just preppy girl to be.
It was I was friends with everybody. I mean, it's like me now. I got friends of all kinds, and but I was like the one that no one saw coming. And it was shocking to me as well. But anytime I got nominated for anything like that, I was always like, me. I was like alternative. I look like Patty Simcox from Grease. Do y'all remember Patty Simcox?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still look like her. I'm chubby Patty Simcox. But I look like her in high school, and I actually played her in a play in high school. And to this day, I can't shake looking in the mirror if my hair is in a ponytail and thinking I look just like Patty Simcox. Which she was like the really uptight, nerdy girl that was like, oh my God, da, 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 da. Who wants to be that bitch? Nobody. We want to be Rizzo.
Yeah.
I did not want to be Patty Simcox. I want to be Rizzo. So I was hanging out with Rizzo, because I didn't want to be Patty. Yeah. Damn it. Maybe I'm Olivia Newton-John. I was flexing between the two.
You can be whoever you want.
I mean, who the fuck? I'm Zeta. I just got one name. No, I want to be like Cher. And last names can come and go.
Yeah, they can.
Anyway, you can do whatever. Anyways, well, that's good. That was a good subject.
Yeah,
I liked it.
So, me too.
Something to talk about.
Yeah.
All right. So next thing. Okay, so today we're going to do some Q&A. and just some rapid fire Q&A.
Yeah.
So we kind of know what the questions are ish, like we
Yeah.
just made them up, but we didn't have time to come up with answers.
Just a fun little way to end the podcast.
Yeah, so you're not ending on anything too serious.
Okay, so the first one is, where would you go to get something for me?
I would go to our favorite antique shop right over here, or I would go to your favorite little thrift shop over there. They can't see me pointing,
Yeah.
but
North and south.
yeah, I would do one of those. Yes.
So me, if I had to buy something for you, which actually this came to me the other day because I know have we talked about that I'm not a gifter. I don't buy gifts for people.
No, and you got me a gift.
One of the biggest reasons though is because I don't know what I'm just bad at it. I'm just bad at it. I can never think about what could somebody actually use. I'm the worst at that. And it gets overwhelming and it's daunting. And so I just don't do it. I figured out that a way that I can shop for people is
to go shopping with them.
No, but if I'm able to buy them clothes, I can buy people clothes.
Oh.
And so I can't buy people stuff though, because I never know. I'm like, I don't know if they would use this, but if I know somebody's style well enough, I can buy them clothing.
Yes.
So I've realized that that's my niche. If I know somebody well enough that I know their style, I can buy them an article of clothing. And so that has become something I can actually do. So if I was going to buy something for you, that's what I would do. I would go as if I'm going shopping for myself. And if I saw something that I'm like, that's Zeta, that's something that I could get for you.
And you did a good job. And Zaylee just saw my necklace that you got me.
You tell her
where
hands
did you
off.
get this? She asked me where I got it. I was like, Kelly gave it to me as a gift. And she was like, oh, she knows you well. You like big jewelry. I was like, yes, you do.
Sure do. All right. So next one is, what embarrasses you the most?
What embarrasses me? When I got to think about this one. I think whenever somebody insults me and I have to take the high road. Like, I don't know if is that really embarrassed? But I mean, they don't embarrass me because they insulted me. But like when you have to take the high road and you can't address it, that embarrasses me because I know they expect it to be addressed.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to be a grown up and I can't address it. Does that make sense? Like, I'm embarrassed I can't address it.
Yeah.
Because I want to rip them a new throat, but it's not the grown-up thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't get embarrassed very easily.
I don't know. I mean,
I fall easily.
I'm very clumsy. So,
I've been known to occasionally accidentally pee on myself. Like, I mean, at this point.
Mine is, so same. I don't have a lot of things that embarrass me, but if I go somewhere or if something's like impromptu and I'm not dressed correctly, that embarrasses me. Because well, not even that. It doesn't really embarrass me. I just don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So if I have to go do something, or if people make plans, or if I have to go do something and and I'm not dressed, because like that's a big thing for me. I like to be dressed nicely.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my favorite things is to get dressed, and I like to get dressed to go out. And so if I have to go do something and I wasn't prepared to do it, and I don't feel like I just have to go and work clothes to this next thing, and I don't want to do that. And I'm not the kind of person that because if I'm dressed for work and I have this workout pants on and a t-shirt, I'm not going to want to go and hang out with the girls or something like that because I'm going to be out of my element. Not that I can't do that. And I understand that there's people who do that, but that's just not me. I like going out to be a whole experience. I like to be at home. I like to get ready. I like to do all the girly things.
But you don't like change either. And so I think part of that is the change.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's
and the more I think about this, I don't think you or I either get embarrassed.
Yeah, I really don't.
We either get annoyed or mad.
I've literally had this one. So I wanted to be fast, but I have this one story. I was going, it was actually a girls' night, and I had a lot of stuff. I had a couple of different pairs of shoes in my car because I wasn't sure what shoe I wanted to wear. And so then we went from one place to the other. Well, I take off my heels if I'm driving. And so I took my heels off to drive in, and I just set it in the back seat, and it was raining and everything like that. So I was just hurrying, and I put on a shoe, just put my shoe back on, and I walked up to where we were going into, and I looked down and I realized I had put on a different shoe.
Oh,
so I had two different shoes on, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Thankfully, not a lot of people saw, but a couple of people did.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, "I'll be right back," and I went out to my car and came back, and they were like, "I was wondering if you were going to notice you didn't have."
Were they even the same color?
Yes, they were the
black.
same, but they were two completely
Totally
different shoes. It was so funny.
Bless your heart.
But even that, like, it really didn't embarrass me. I laughed at myself.
Right.
So it's like, I really don't embarrass easy, but anyways. So the next one is, what is your biggest fear? And it doesn't have, it can be goofy. It is like, what's something that scares you, or it can be a thing.
Obviously, you think about things like death and children and all that horrible things. But if we're going to put all that aside. 'Cause to me, that's
light.
obvious.
It's going to be light.
Yeah, to me, that's obvious shit. I think in the back of my head, my fear is not paying a bill and shit getting cut off.
Yeah.
Because I've done it, but not in years. But, well, I've done it, though. I have thought I paid a bill, and I didn't pay the bill, and, for whatever reason, or I thought it was due a different day, or whatever the case is. I have done that on more than one occasion. I'm way better at it now and keep a planner. But, y'all, again, bad memory. So I guess I got a little PTSD. And when I was married to my ex-husband, I would give him money for a bill, and it wouldn't always get paid. Ugh. And so I got PTSD, I think, from that. But that scares me.
My two biggest fears are spiders and whales.
Oh, well, that
Two
makes
bugaboos.
sense.
I don't like them. I don't like spiders. I don't care how big or how smart they are. I don't trust any of them. And whales just creep me out. I can't even look at pictures of them.
I feel that way about snakes.
Oh my gosh. Snakes, I don't love snakes, but they don't scare me the way
The only good
whales
snake is
do.
a dead snake. I don't care what anyone tells me. Will kill any snake I see. I don't care if they're your pet.
You're dead.
Yeah, get away from me.
Okay. All right. Next one. How do you like to be comforted when you're sad?
I like people to leave me the fuck alone.
Right. Same. I like to don't comfort me when I'm sad. I like space. But
I like you to send me a bottle of liquor, but don't come in the house.
I don't even like people to acknowledge when, I can be crying. I do not want you to ask me what's wrong with me.
Don't.
Don't do it. That's just going to make it worse. Just ignore me until I've collected myself, and then maybe we can talk about it at a later time.
Right.
But do not come and ask me what's wrong with me. I hate that phrase because I just don't, because it just automatically is like you're doing something wrong. No.
I don't show enough sadness in public that anyone ever asked me that. But when I lost my mom, when I lost my brother, things like that, obviously people reached out. Mm-hmm. But my good friends knew to leave me alone. Yeah. Conveniently, I got COVID, so that helped. Except the night that, before I left to go to my brother's funeral, y'all all came over and got drunk with me.
We do what we can.
That was
great.
what I mean? So thanks.
The one thing I can say that I've had people ask me, is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah.
Do you need me to
That's a good one,
yeah.
though. Yeah.
I can do that. Don't ask me what's wrong with me, but you can be like, do you need anything?
I need $1 million.
Is there anything I can do?
Give me $1 million.
If you can't do that, get out. All right. Next one. What was your favorite childhood game? Can you think of a game that you like?
When I was a kid and at recess, you have your little friends you play with. And when I was in first through second grade, probably, maybe second and third, but I think it was first and second, there's this kid. BJ Bean was his name.
Oh.
Had a huge crush on BJ. And he was a little tiny blonde boy. And BJ and I would play on the playground with some other of our friends. I don't remember them.
They didn't make them stand out there?
I know. Jason DeRossett was one of them who I actually am still friends on Facebook with. And we would play we were space people. I don't know if astronauts is the right word. And we would pretend like we had these watches on our hand that where you could see and talk to people. Basically what we have now in phones.
Yeah, or before your time.
Yeah, and so this is 1981 probably, and we would play on the playground, and the whole time we would play this game where we were exploring a new planet, and it'd be okay, you go over there and check out this area, and I'm gonna go over there, and then we'd run over to our area, but we'd be separate, and obviously we couldn't actually hear what our pretend watches said, but I'd be like, BJ, to the right, do you see, what is that? It's a crazy looking creature. And then we'd come back and report what we just saw.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. And I got to play with the boys.
Yeah.
Fun fact, he moved away shortly after that, Mr. BJ Bean did. And then he sure the hell did pop up on Facebook under people we may know.
Wow.
And I, of course, did not message him because that would have been inappropriate. I don't know this man. But his wife ended up being a mutual friend of a friend of mine. And I told her, tell BJ's wife this story. And it got back. And then he messaged me. This is like 10 years ago. And he was like, ha ha, oh my God, my wife just told me and I found you. And oh my God, we did play that game. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
That's funny.
What was your favorite game?
Mine was hide and go seek. I loved playing hide and go seek. And we had a way that we played at my house where we start in the backyard because we had a trampoline and we'd start on the trampoline. And one person would go and hide somewhere around the house. And then after we got done counting, everybody have to get off the trampoline, and both of the gates were open on each side, and you had to make your way all the way around the house back to the trampoline without getting tagged.
Oh, that's
by
a good
that
game.
person. So they would hide somewhere. And it would be at nighttime, so you wouldn't be able to see them. And then you'd have to run around the house. You didn't know where they were hiding at, so they could be like pop out of anywhere, but you had to make it back to the trampoline and not get tagged.
My kids play a game like that. To this day, they like a year ago, I caught them playing this, and this is my adult children with the teenagers. But they play hide and go seek in the house, and they started doing that when they used to have to watch themselves when I had to work sometimes late. I mean, Zoe was old enough to watch them. And they'd play hide and go seek in the house, but they would turn all the lights off, and you had to crawl because they were afraid they'd knock things over and break it. Yeah. And sometimes they broke things, so I guess they didn't always play that rule. But yeah, it was hide and go seek in the dark. All the lights were turned off too. So
that's my favorite.
Yeah, they liked it a lot. That's fun.
All right, what is your guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure, I would say, is some of my music choices because I really like stuff I didn't like when I was young. So like New Kids on the Block, hated them. When all the girls were crazy about them. And I mean, all my friends, they got real popular when I was in like 8th grade. And all the girls were crazy about them. But no, I like The Cure and Depeche Mode. And I was just too cool for that. And I kind of missed out. So as an adult, I know all the songs because all my friends listen to them. And I will sing you every damn New Kids on the Block, Hangin' Tough album. I know it backwards and forward. I had to like admit to my friend Jenna, okay, I really do like the New Kids on the Block. Okay. This is a big moment for me to admit this in public. Right. So put this out for everyone to know. Okay, y'all, I like the whole album Hangin' Tough. I like the dances, the cheesy hat that the young one always wore. I don't know their names. Except Jordan. Who doesn't know Jordan? Anyway, that's probably my guilty pleasure.
I've been sitting here trying to think about one, but I really don't know what my guilty pleasure is that I'm like anything that I'd be scared to admit. So I don't really have one other than like my entire wardrobe is thrift store. I love going thrift store. That is kind of a
guilty pleasure though.
And I get that a lot of time because people will be like, oh, I love that. Where'd you get that? Or I love that. Where'd you get that? And I'm like, it was a thrift store. If I have it on 99% of the time, it was from a thrift store. Sometimes I'll get shoes that are not thrift store because I like having nice new shoes. So I like them to last me a long time. But other than that, like it's a thrift store. Yeah. I like secondhand things. And for me, I just like giving things a new life, a second life. Like I don't like to. It's not like I'm like, I'm totally
against. Real generic. Like you're not going to walk in Target and be like, I love this. It's not your style.
I can't ever really find things. I like to be able to go and just search for things.
Yeah. I like to go to Target and go in the pajama area and make that my regular clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it all the time. I'm like, this is definitely not a nightgown.
This is definitely a dress.
It is now. All right, what else?
Where's your happy place?
San Saba at the cabin.
That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. There and my bed.
Yeah. So my biggest happy place is definitely my bed at home. And other than that, I really like being at my parents' house. Something about just being home with mom and dad just always makes me happy. Yeah. So
I'd say the cabin is, not the cabin, the kitchen is my happy place, but it's not.
Your kitchen is my happy place.
Yeah. I like it when the company is right.
I like to come to your kitchen while you're cooking.
Yes. I see this meme all the time. It's like my spot in the friend group is to watch my friends cook.
That's me.
And taste
to
it.
A T.
Yeah, it is. Every time I see that.
I saw a meme that it was this girl that was walking around the kitchen as her best friend was cooking, and she's like talking to her friend, and it said, "This is what I mean by let's go cook." I or this is what I mean by helping you cook.
Yeah.
And it's just me sitting there and talking to you while you're cooking.
Because that is how that works.
I'm helping you.
But our love languages work together that
Yes,
way.
it does.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your least favorite thing to do?
I hate mopping.
Mopping.
Well, and I do like my my wonderful mop that we talk about on the other podcasts all the time. But that's because I have to mop. But I do not enjoy mopping. But I do enjoy cleaning.
I do. I enjoy cleaning too. Like in the moment, sometimes I'm like can be in my head like, oh my gosh, seriously, like whatever. But honestly, I like to clean because I like the after effect.
I don't like to check my bank account either, even when I have a lot of money in it. I don't like to look at it.
I don't either.
There's
I go
anxiety.
Yeah.
I have been poor enough times in life that anxiety is related to it. So I know I have plenty of money in there and I still will be afraid to check it. Like there's going to be a surprise and I just don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
That's
none of my business, okay? My bank account is none of my business.
I will go I'll go like 5 days without checking it. And I'm like, any day now, it's going to decline this card. And it's not going to decline the card. There's plenty of money. But
that's just branded into your head.
And so like it'll be like I don't know, I'll put it off for 3 or 4 days. And then I'll be like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do it. Tomorrow I'm going to check my bank account.
I'm going to see where I'm at.
Yes. And I'm always like, most times I'm like, oh, that's not bad.
I was scared for nothing.
But, when you were a single parent for years, it usually was not pleasant. So
my least favorite thing to do is be in a car. It doesn't matter. I hate driving. It gives me such bad anxiety. If it's more than 30 minutes away, you can guarantee Kelly's not going to go unless she's driven. And I don't like to be driven either. Like I don't like being in the vehicle because if I'm not driving, if it's more than like 5 minutes, I get car sick. So I hate, it's gotten even worse. Like I used to get car sick, like, it would be like after like a half an hour or an hour. But now literally I can't drive from Frost. I can't be in the car from Frost to like Corsicana or Waxahachie. Somebody else is driving and I'm car sick. So I'm just like, I don't like being in cars.
Be rough.
I know it's horrible. I don't like being in cars. Yeah. And it makes it worse if I am playing something on my phone or if I'm reading something on my phone.
I can't do that either.
I can't. I've had to tell Dante anytime. I'm like, when we get in the car, you have to take my phone away from me. You cannot let me look at it, not for a minute, because I will be automatically car sick.
So guilty of the same thing. Ugh. And I also can't look out the windows a lot. So see,
I have to look out the windows.
Rick and I went through Red Oak the other day, and I hadn't been through Red Oak in a few months. And, that's where I went to school growing up. And so I'm very familiar with Red Oak. And it's changed a lot. And so I'm rubbernecking the whole way through Red Oak. I'm just like, what is that? Look at that. Oh, my God. Did you see that? Did you know that was here? Oh, my God.
Where did that come from?
Oh, my God. Look at all those houses. I'm rubbernecking like crazy. I even said to him, oh, my God, I cannot stop staring. I'm going to get car sick. Next thing I know, I feel horrible.
I hate it. It's the worst
Did
feeling
it to
ever.
myself. Did it to myself.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun. Yay.
You're welcome.
Not
that you asked for that. But
Thanks for joining us again on another episode. Please like, share, tell your friends, all the good stuff.
Yeah, look us up. If you want to, I haven't gotten an email in a hot minute.
Yeah, come on.
So if you send me an email, you're going to be my new favorite friend. Make it juicy. It doesn't have to be juicy, but send me something, okay? 2 Sides in the Truth podcast at outlook.com.
Yeah, or you can, if you message Instagram, our page on Instagram, then it's Kelly.
Yeah.
And if you message the one on Facebook, it's me.
Yeah.
If it's
so
not
it depends on
obvious.
who you want to talk to.
If it's not obvious. Yeah, whoever, that's the best way to know who you're talking to. Otherwise, we're like screenshotting it and sending it to each other. And, if there's something that you want to see in our social media more, we are trying to get better at participating in it.
Yeah.
You're welcome for gracing y'all with
You're
this
doing a
lovely
lot better
picture.
than I am here recently.
Well, I posted a picture of me on like day 4 of semi-swimming. I looked rough. And then I went to work that same day. That was the day I worked a half day. And Mary comments. And Mary's like, did you wear a hat to work? Like, what do you have going on?
Please tell me you did something.
I brushed it, okay? I finally brushed it. But I like how I'm like bundled up and I have all this fleece shit on. And then I have like on this really fancy, my blue robe I wear.
Oh, your favorite blue robe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I lived in that bitch this week. So anyways, well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Maybe come back next week and bring a friend.
Yeah. And remember, there's always 3 sides to every story.
2 sides and the truth.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.